Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. We are at 4190 Northeast Brogden Street here in Hillsboro. I describe everything as if you're standing out in the street facing the front of the house. We are to the right of the front doorway. Little pointer here, should you lose track of this clean out, it's a pretty easy one to get buried. You got 3 windows to the right of the front door. The clean out lines up with the left side window frame of the middle window, and it's about a foot out from the house here. 3-inch ABS clean out. We're going to check the overall condition and serviceability of the line. Waters are running. We're going to zero the foot counter out here at the base of the clean out, and off we go. Right out of the gate. Oh, we just transitioned there to PVC pipe. I think, yep, there looks like there's a bell out right here just before the transition. It's a hard one to see because it's on a turn, but it looks like the line is swapping to 4-inch pipe there. Also changing to standard PVC pipe too. And we are currently heading towards the driveway right now. And that flow line right there is spotless clean. That is exactly how you want your pipe to look. And that's made possible by, I become a big stickler about grease buildup over the years. I've been doing this 13 years now. I've cambered almost 25,000 sewer lines, done a lot of drain cleaning. And grease buildup has become something I've become a lot more concerned about, honestly, than a lot of structural problems. Bellies and offset joints, things like that. Not that they can't cause problems, but it is often a coupling effect of a structural issue that causes extra grease to concentrate in those locations, constricts the line down like a clogged up artery, and then the job gets finished by someone flushes a giant wad of paper towels or toilet paper or something like that down the line. So that grease buildup is a huge contributing factor to a lot of blockages occurring that otherwise wouldn't, and or would break loose on their own naturally before it even turned into something you knew about. So it's something I like to counsel people, especially new homeowners. I can give you one pointer on how to. There's not a lot you can do to maintain a sewer line. It's buried underground. You really can't do much about it. But the one thing you can do is avoid dumping your pans down the sink. So we're getting to some level of standing water here. The plus side is we are way out from the house right now. And that's not a terribly significant belly to begin with. If you're going to have a belly, having it positioned 75, 80 feet away from the home is exactly where you want it to be. There's a little bit of debris there. We'll go over that when we come back through that location. You know, that belly there is probably around 5 feet in length. It's probably going to be holding somewhere around 1 inch of standing water. So, and at the 5 foot mark with 1 inch of standing water is where I just start to consider repair recommendations on bellies. I rarely recommend a repair on a belly that size, to be honest with you. It's very rare. I usually only do so when we're in very rough pipe materials like old cast iron and concrete. The coupling of standing water and rough pipe materials is not a combo I love. But typically I'm still only doing that when it's very close proximity to the home. You get a blockage at 80 feet out in a belly that size right there. For one, you would have to be doing some level of abuse to the sewer line to accomplish that. But two, you'd have to have a blockage heavy duty enough to withstand 80 feet of pipe filling up with water behind it, which creates a humongous amount of head pressure. There are not a lot of blockages that can withstand that, not unless it's improper stuff. You know, big greased up pipe with a big old wad of paper towels in it. It takes stuff like that to accomplish that. So anyway, we'll talk more about that here in a moment. We're going to go locate the camera head, verify where the line terminates while the pipe drains out, and we'll have another look at everything. Alrighty, located the camera head. The reason this line is so long, it goes about as far out of the way as it possibly can, I think. It crosses to the very far left side of the property line. It ends up crossing the street, or it shoots beyond the driveway, so it crosses the full width of the driveway, moving from right to left. Probably 2-3 feet to the left of the driveway edge is where the line turns. And then on top of that, it goes to the complete opposite side of the street. The main lateral in this circumstance is actually not in the middle of the road, like most sewer lines. It's offset to the right-of-way area on the opposite side of the road. In fact, this thing just about terminates the very front edge of the driveway of the neighbor across the street, which just some neighborhoods are like this. But it also speaks to the level of expertise that went into installing this thing. We don't sit super below grade here. It's fairly subtle, but that already, in my experience doing this, as long as I have, when a home sits even a little bit below street level, the likelihood you're going to end up with a belly goes up dramatically. Even if the main lateral is insanely deep and you have way more room than you need to grade the line, it often results in some kind of a belly. So you've got a relatively, flat property, almost below grade type property, and an extremely long run. Considering all those things put together, I would still call this a very nicely installed sewer line. Even with the belly it's got in it, and this thing is way the heck out from the house at 81 feet. And I had a bathtub putting quite a bit of water down line here. This is why I always let them drain out. Otherwise you get a very exaggerated look at a belly. So you can see there's a little bit of debris there at the top of the sewer line. This thing runs from about 75 feet to 81 feet, so just a little bit more than 5 feet in length, and it's not even holding an inch of standing water. It's less than that. I think at its worst point, which is right about in here, you're still only at about a half of an inch of standing water. I'm going to call it between a half of an inch and 3/4 just to be on the safe side. Either way, very minor. The top of my camera lens sits about an inch off the bottom of the pipe. So once the camera lens is at least fully submerged, you're at about the inch mark there. So we're only getting halfway to that point. So not the kind of belly I am concerned about in the least. Not unless you are planning on flushing some wild and crazy things down this line. But you can see all the debris that you saw there at the top of the sewer line. What I was going to get at is, it's always possible a blockage has occurred here. Blockages, I see blockage evidence in tons and tons of sewer lines where there's zero structural issues going on. A lot of times blockages happen or are more likely to happen just because of what the homeowner is putting down the line. It has often more to do with that than the structure of the sewer line. But that substance there at the top of the sewer line could indicate that there may have been a blockage that broke loose on its own long time ago. It made it to about 2 feet prior to the belly and broke loose. That's assuming that's blockage evidence. Anytime you have standing water in a sewer line, it's like anything. You have, especially when hot water's going through the pipe and fills that whole area in with hot water that steams up and condenses on the top of the pipe, you have perfect conditions for mold and mildew growth. So you'll often get stuff like that in and around areas of standing water. So anyway, very minor stuff we're looking at there. At those distances, even if that belly were the first 5 feet right out of the gate, it's still not one I'd recommend a repair on. So that's how minor that is. Unless you're feeding this thing a healthy diet of grease and paper towels, that is, even then I think you'd still have a hard time back in the lineup. It would take stuff like that, though, to ever get it to a point where it could even block and flirt with the idea of backing up. But this is not an easy install to do like this. That's why I say, even with that going on there, considering it's a 102-foot run with the kind of property layout you have here, I generally would have expected something like this. Had you told me that, I would have told you there would probably been a 15, 20 foot, 30 foot section of pipe here with inches of water in it. It's just requires some care when you're installing these things to accomplish this kind of result. So all the PVC there looks good. All of it's intact. Very, very clean. As is the ABS. We're going to run backwards here for just a moment. And right here is where we go through the foundation wall. Everything from this point beyond is all exposed piping. That's not stuff we need a camera for. Good flow all the way out to the main lateral. All the pipes in good shape and very clean, and you can keep it clean like that. Just mind your P's and Q's as it relates to cooking oil and grease. Sewer line is functioning properly at this time.